Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kevin Petrie, the General Manager at Retention Management. Thank you all very much for joining us today to review this webinar, a better member experience, with the help of two of our presenters today. First, we have Richard Thomas of Listen 360, and we also have Robin Lieberman of Rady JCC. And the service that we'll be talking about today is the new RM360 service that Retention Management has launched to our clients earlier in the year. We have received a great amount of feedback from our clients that are using it, and we wanted to make sure that we took an opportunity today to share some of that feedback to the rest of our clients that are potentially looking at adding RM360 to their retention management services. Just a quick little note, the reason why we came together with Listen 360 was they were clearly the leader in the marketplace in regards to member feedback. Up until this point in time, the retention management services, the email services, were automated, but they were more of a one-way communication tool. It was the clubs speaking out to the actual members. And what we felt was to complete more of the retention puzzle was that we were going to make it more of a two-way street and begin to take the member feedback and to listen to the member feedback and to allow our clients to begin to be making smart business decisions based off of that feedback. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and throw the ball over to Richard Thomas and Robin Lieberman. They will take you through the actual RM360 service and what it has done for Rady JCC. And once again, thank you all very much for joining us today and for your time.
Hey, thanks again, Kevin. This is Richard Thomas. Appreciate the introduction. And Robin, thanks again for joining us today. We had a few things, as Kevin mentioned, that we wanted to kind of get through with you, and probably the most important thing is really to give you some perspective of the experience of a real-life user of the RM360 system. And so Robin has graciously offered to share her experiences with us today. And first and foremost, I thought maybe it'd be best to let Robin tell you just a little bit about the JCC and some of the services that they provide. Robin, can you give a little bit of background on Rady JCC?
For sure, definitely. We are a full service, multifunctional Jewish community center. Our mission is to be the center of the community, providing the best in Jewish culture, fitness, and wellness programs for all stages of life. So we have a full fitness facility, pool, gymnasium, fitness equipment, group fitness classes, sports and recreation programs, as well as a whole programming side where we offer cultural, social, and educational programs as well. So that gives you sort of a quick idea of what we're all about.
Awesome. And I think, Robin, one of the key points that you had mentioned is that you serve both members and non-members, and so that today you're using the RM360 system really with your members, but you do serve a community of non-members that come in for special events and activities. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, we have a lot of what we call non-member program participants who participate in our programs, as well as our fitness membership.
Right. Well, I just wanted to say just a few words about the RM360 system. And basically, RM360, as Kevin mentioned, is a customer feedback system that's built around something called the Net Promoter Score. And this is a de facto industry standard metric for measuring loyalty and predicting future business performance that's been proven and borne out through a variety of studies over a multi-year period, including studies with Harvard Business School and Bain & Company. And we basically allow you, with the Listen 360 system, we ask this question and gather and calculate that score for you. So it can be used as an intuitive component of your overall system for tracking and managing customer feedback. But in fact, we do a lot more than just calculate the score for you. We give you a lot of other information that you can use to analyze the feedback that you receive from your clients, to be able to report on that feedback, as well as to follow up with the end clients on an individual basis. And so basically the way it works conceptually is that you have, at most of your clubs, you're going to have some kind of a club management system that you use to check in and bill your clients. That data from your club management system is automatically brought over to the retention management solution and fed into the RM360 system, and at which point we know on our behalf, on our side of this equation, when to send a feedback request to a customer based on activity with the club. And so once that happens, there's kind of a closed loop cycle that we get involved in that allows the club owner, operators, and management to kind of know in real time how their customers feel about them and what they need to do to follow up with them. Robin, I know you've been using the system, I believe, for I want to say almost going on 8 months now. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Good. And I know you've gotten a lot of, we discussed a number of the reports that you're using. Could you describe maybe a little bit about how you're following up with individual clients as they provide feedback to you?
Yeah, sure. So what we do is when we get the results, and it's usually done on a weekly basis. So when we get the results, what we do is for follow-up, anybody who scores, it's out of 10, so anybody who scores an 8 out of 10 or lower either receives a phone call or an email from either myself or our fitness director or our executive director, depending on what the subject of the feedback is. If they have not provided a comment, because there's an opportunity to rate us or recommend us with the number, but then not everybody makes a comment. So if they don't make a comment, then we thank them for doing the survey, and then we ask them for feedback and just make sure that they're happy with us. And then what we do is we track the comments on a spreadsheet, as well as we make notes in the Listen 360 portal. For that particular member, there's an area where you can make notes on what your follow-up is. So once we've heard back from the customer, from the member, then like I said, we track that follow-up. As well, our management team, we meet each week. So one of the things we do is we go over the feedback, and then we decide who is going to follow up. That's when we decide who's going to do the follow-up. We discuss the comments, and then what we do is we decide what action is going to be taken. So so we keep track of the comments that way. Sometimes there's situations where we're not able to, take action right away, depending on some of the comments. So what we'll do is we'll sort of keep it on our radar, sort of for future, so that we don't forget about those comments. An example would be we've had some comments about increasing the amount of group fitness classes that we do in the evenings. That was something we couldn't do right away because of budgetary constraints, but our new fiscal year starts in September, and so that's something that we are going to be changing for September. So something like that, we make sure that we keep it on our radar. And then there's lots of things that we're able to, change or do immediately from some suggestions that members make. So that's basically how we do the follow-up.
Awesome. Thank you, Robin. I thought it might be useful for the group to kind of have a peek at what it is, or what the end consumer or the end member who's getting the feedback request actually sees. And what you see on the screen in front of you is an example of the email that would be sent out on behalf of Robin and the team at Rady JCC to their clients. And they actually have included here, a gift certificate as an incentive, or a drawing as an incentive for their clients to give feedback. And once the client gets this email, they simply click on this link. And as Robin was mentioning, they're asked this Net Promoter question, 0 to 10, how likely would you be to recommend Rady JCC to a friend or associate? 0s to 6s are detractors, and we ask this simple follow-up question, and the customer can type whatever they would like in here. And this, of course, is what Robin was referring to as reviewing specific comments and feedback that people had put in and being able to follow up with them. 7 and 8s are passives. These are people that kind of neither too happy or unhappy, but certainly are worth following up with, because in many cases these are people that might be at risk of leaving your business. And then the 9s and 10s are the ones that are most happy with the services that have been provided and would actually go out and recommend the JCC to their friends and associates. And the team at JCC, Rady JCC, has actually included a certificate for a referral program for their members. And so this is something that you can do directly within the Listen 360 system. And if those happy promoter customers want, they can click on the Facebook icon. It will open up their Facebook wall, and they'll be allowed to type in whatever they want. And this actual referral program notification will be posted along in that Facebook wall feed that all of that promoter's friends would then see. And so if I'm a friend of John here and want to take advantage of this referral program, I'll see it in my newsfeed from my friend. I can click on it, and then I'm taken over to the JCC website where I can learn more about the services that are offered by the JCC, and I can even go in here and print that certificate. So a nice way to kind of help those happy clients that said they would recommend your business, actually give them the tools to actually do so in an environment where they can have a one-to-many relationship effect on that process. And then finally, once the client is finished providing feedback, they're thanked for their feedback, and they're brought to this page where they can be allowed, where they're thanked for their feedback, and then also can actually click to like the team at Rady JCC. So that's the process for capturing that feedback. Robin was talking just a little bit about the way the system works as far as being able to track and monitor customers who have issues and concerns. And this is from our demo system. This is demo data that we have in our system, but you can see that this fitness club here, Run Yourself in Florida, is the business that we're looking at. And Listen 360, as that feedback comes in, automatically builds and populates dashboards for you to tell you exactly who needs to be followed up with. And we identify those as members at risk. We line them all up on this task pad for you, and we give you some really powerful tools for tracking the process of reaching out to individual clients, whether it's offering some kind of additional service or some kind of special incentive to get the customer to come back or to address their concerns. You have all those reports available in the system. And then last but not least, you also have a portfolio of other reports that give you top-down visibility into what your customers are saying. So one of the really neat ones that we have is something that's built around this text analytics engine we have that's part of the Listen 360 system that allows you to have top-down visibility into all the common terms and things that your customers are using to describe the business. Robin, I know you've looked, I believe, at some of this, some of the text analytics and the reporting specific in your environment. Can you tell us about some of your experiences with specific reporting that you've used in the Listen 360 system?
Yeah, for sure. So what we found is we use this voice of the customer, and what we found is it breaks it down by category, and so we're able to see sort of, for any of our detractors, what some of the factors are in terms of, beyond what their comments are, but sort of an overall picture of what our detractors are saying in terms of anything negative. And so we're able to see and break it down that way, the way you see it on the screen. The other one we use is the member loyalty one, and it also allows you to see which, like by age, like age group, so your members by age, which one, which age group, I guess, is sort of more negative, more positive, and then in terms of categories as well, because we have different membership categories at our JCC. So is it more seniors? Is it more individuals? Is it more people that have family memberships? So we found these reports actually to be quite useful in terms of us being able to respond.
Awesome, awesome, thank you. And so there are, this is kind of the base level of the system. We do also have a higher level view of the data. If you happen to have a multi-location environment, we do have corporate level views where you can roll up and see all of the data across all of your locations. I'll show that to you real quick. But you can get that same level of reporting but up at a summary level across all the locations that if you happen to have a multi-location business. And so you can see the run yourself location compared to all the other locations in this business, as well as that overall average net promoter score. I'll just hop back over here. So as I mentioned, there are a number of ways to collect and bring feedback into the system. I also mentioned a number of there's one of the more powerful things that we do is a nightly email that automatically brings feedback into the system from all of your members and provides that to your staff on a real-time basis. And Robin, one of the things I wanted to also be sure to spend a minute or two and get with you on is kind of what the goals that you have, and how would you describe the goals of the JCC as it relates to gathering feedback from customers?
Okay. Basically, our two main goals in terms of our membership is member retention and customer service. So, as a client of retention management already, when we found out about the Listen 360 and what it does, we thought that this would be a great way to help us achieve those two goals. So that getting member feedback, and really listening to our members and what they have to say would really give us insight into is our membership happy with us? A lot of times they maybe are not happy with something, but they won't actually tell you. But when they're asked, then they give their feedback. And, we're finding also that because it's only 2 questions, it's very quick and it's short, that, our feedback rate has been pretty high because, people a lot of times don't want to do surveys or they're just going to click off of it because it's too long. So I think that that's a real benefit as well. So by listening to our members and getting that feedback and really seeing, what they're thinking and what their suggestions are, we're able to, hopefully increase our retention and, really offer the best customer service possible that we can.
And Robin, have there been specific instances or specific items, specific customers that you've maybe identified and been able to engage with or learn about that you might not have learned about before having implemented the system?
Yes, definitely, for sure. We've gotten feedback from a lot of members who, like we really hadn't heard from before, or we hadn't really engaged with that much.
Got it. Yeah, and I know that one of the things that a lot of our clients tell us about the system is that in many cases, you have the squeaky wheel customers, right? That will maybe that are more vocal about raising their issues and concerns, but in many cases, not every customer is going to be as vocal. Some of those clients will just, if they're unhappy, may just choose to go find another club to go to. And so one of the neat things, one of the benefits of the Listen360 system is because it's fully automated and there is a link between the club management system and the retention management solution overall, every customer gets an equal opportunity to provide feedback as they're checking into and using the club facilities. And so it gives an equal voice to all of your clients as opposed to kind of what can sometimes, when you're doing word of mouth, can be an imbalanced perspective. Robin, I was going to also ask, how were you gathering feedback before you began using the the RM360 system?
I guess what we were doing before is, because we're a JCC, we're part of the North American JCC Association, they have a program called benchmarking, and we've been participating in that for the last 3 years. We opted not to do it this year, and what they do is they send a survey out to our membership, and then we get the results from that. But the results are very general. There are comments, but we have no idea sort of who's responding to what in terms of really category or age. It's more of a general feedback system, and so we found that it wasn't in as much detail, and it just didn't really satisfy our needs the same way that this system does.
Good, good. And I think one of the last slides I have here that I wanted to make sure I shared with everybody is just a little bit of the actual responses that you're getting. The overall 32% response rate is certainly very, very good for an automated system. And I think in general, if we compare that to paper surveys or comment cards, those are typically in the 1, 2, 3% range. So we're certainly seeing a tremendous response at Rady, as well as our other fitness clubs that use the system. And then, of course, the team at Rady obviously is doing a great job as they enjoy a very high Net Promoter Score as compared to the overall average for North American clubs. So I don't know that that's a big surprise to anybody, but Robin, if you have any comments about why you believe your score would be high, I'm sure the audience would love to understand, as a broader than even just the feedback kind of, the things that you do to take care of your members.
Sure. Like I said, our two main goals are member retention and customer service. And so we've been working really, really hard the last couple of years on both those things. In terms of customer service, we've really taken it to the next level in terms of, wowing our customers, our members, going above and beyond, and really making sure that our staff, our front desk staff, our fitness staff, are, really meeting the needs of our members. Like I said, when we do get complaints or suggestions, even if we can't change something, even if we can't take action, at least we're letting our members know that they're being heard, and we're not just ignoring them. And then in terms of retention, we work really, really hard to keep our members. We send reminder emails, we do reminder phone calls, we, when people's memberships are due, we, do all kinds of, sort of loyalty things for our members. We make them feel like this is the place that they want to be. I think being a JCC, there's a sense of community here. We're not just a fitness facility, and so I think that really makes a difference for us as well. The one thing I will say is that, we know pretty much overall that, our membership is pretty happy here. Our retention rate is quite high. But we really, until we did this Listen360 feedback system, we really had no idea, really overall, how happy our members are, how much they like our staff, how much they like, our equipment, our programs. They always comment on the cleanliness of our facility. So, in terms of that, it's not just, I think, the negative feedback that's important. I think it's important to also be able to hear from your happy members, you know, why they're staying, and you know, especially when they compliment the staff, you know, and sort of the overall cleanliness of the building and the facility. So yeah, so that's why.
Awesome. Well, I think it's you know, I think all of your comments are very, very timely, and certainly, you know, tools like the retention management solution, the RM360 component, certainly have the ability to help you track and measure your performance, but it's not a replacement for execution. And so, Robin, you know, I'd like to congratulate you and the team at Rady for doing such a great job of taking care of your clients. And so we did have just a few of the, you can see some of the specific feedback that Robin was referring to, and you know, the kind of compliments that her clients and her members are giving her. And I know from speaking with her, as well as other clients of ours, a very powerful positive reinforcement from being able to share these great comments with the staff and the team that are taking care of customers every day. And I think people sometimes lose track of that and don't always get the compliments, or don't necessarily get that feedback that they ultimately deserve. I'm talking about the employees now for doing such a great job of taking care of customers. So I think, Kevin, if you're there, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Richard.
And let you, maybe I'll let you open for questions or
Absolutely. I was just answering a few questions that had come in privately, but we will certainly open it up at this point in time to the participants that are on the meeting. If you go to raise your hand or to the ask a question area, it will come in, and I will prompt that question out to the retention team here. For starters, one that I haven't answered yet, and Richard, you can certainly speak to this. We have a question which is, what is the average response rate of feedback emails?
Yeah, that's a good question. It varies widely depending on the various industries and segments. But in general, in a health and fitness club, in the range of 25 to 35% is pretty average, is pretty close to normal for what we're seeing. We serve about 1,500 health and fitness clubs, so we have a pretty good sample size, and that's a reasonable expectation.
Thank you. How often are the members polled?
That's a great question. So members are polled once every 90 days. We have something inside the system we call a CAP, and we will not send a feedback request to a member any more often than once during a 90-day period of time, no matter how many times they check into the club.
Great, thank you. How do you calculate the NPS?
That's a good question. The NPS score, as I mentioned, the NPS score is broken down by the 0 to 6 detractors, 7 and 8 passes, and 9 and 10 promoters. And the score is calculated by taking the percentage of promoters and subtracting from that the percentage of detractors that you have. So you could have either a positive 100% net promoter score, meaning everybody was a promoter, or a negative 100% score, meaning everybody was a detractor. The average for health clubs, as you saw earlier in the slides in the North American market, is right about 44–45%. World class is considered to be 70%, and those are businesses like Apple Computer and those kinds of companies have that kind of score.
Thank you. One of the other questions was regarding the cost to current retention management customers. Well, for everyone on this particular seminar, please know that you will be contacted within the next business day by our brand new national sales manager, Billy Dawson, and Billy will review with you the different price structures depending upon your facility. We have another question here, Richard. Do you have set questions that you ask, or does the club come up with the survey questions?
No, we have the two questions that you saw in the feedback request that I presented are what we ask. We ask the Net Promoter question, 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend? And then we ask that simple follow-up question, which is the open-ended text box that says, tell us why you feel the way you do. And then because we've got the integration built that ties all the way back in ultimately to the club management system, we already know things like age groups and other information about that member. So we don't need to ask some of those questions. And we know from our experience in serving clients that keeping the feedback request and simple and quick for the client, and having a mission of wanting to listen to the client as opposed to ask them a number of questions will elicit the highest response rate and also the most thoughtful feedback and the most actionable feedback. So it's really kind of based around those two questions.
Great, thank you very much. We have back-to-back questions here from one of our attendees. Can the 90-day polling period be changed? For example, can it be changed to once in 120 or 150 days?
Yeah, yes, it can.
Good, good. I can actually speak to that. I know that retention management, we eat our own dog food, so to speak. So as retention management clients, you may have received an email from us regarding how we are doing as a service provider to your various facilities. And it was important to us that we sent those surveys out, but I did not necessarily want to wait the length of time that we had originally decided upon, and we did in fact move up our second survey in time because I wanted to make sure that we were reaching out to the clients that we had that were unresponsive to the very first survey. So I can speak directly to that as someone who has used the RM360 for our clients. Another question, can the data be isolated to department? For example, MBS score for fitness versus MBS score for aquatics, etc.
If you're holding that data in your club management system, in other words, if we know if a customer came in for aquatics as opposed to fitness, that data can be passed over to the Listen360 system, the RM360 system, and we can report on and show a breakdown of the Net Promoter Score by people who came to the aquatics as opposed to those who came to the fitness facilities.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, with that, again, I thank you all very much for attending. I appreciate your time. We went about 10 minutes over what we had anticipated, but a lot of that was due to some fantastic questions that you all offered to us. We will be in touch with you. There will be future webinars for the RM360 services, and we will certainly be taking this particular webinar and placing it on our retention management YouTube page so that you can view in the future on your own time accord, or if you would like to share it with other people within your organization. Last of all, again, please know that you will be contacted by Billy Dawson within the next few business days to follow up on any other questions, concerns, pricing, and such that you may have regarding the RM360 services. Thank you very much, Richard and Robin, for your presentation. Robin, I really appreciate your feedback as a user of the actual service. I think that is valuable to be heard by our other clients. And I really appreciate you joining us here today to speak about how it's worked for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.